Hey, what's going on? Welcome to VT Sports. I'm Danny Cannell alongside my guy Chris Mano. Another fun show lined up for you today. The World Baseball Classic has crowned a champion. It is not the team from the U.S. It is the Venezuelans who come on top. We'll talk a little bit about that game. USA falling up short. One of the major topics we got today, Max Crosby is out on the record. He is talking about what took place on his visit to Baltimore. Some very interesting details there, which begs the question, was Baltimore even serious about signing Max Crosby, or were they just playing him? We'll talk about that. There is a former major college basketball star who had some very interesting thoughts on his time at Kansas. I want to get to those. A lot of other topics I want to get to as well. The NFL has announced they're playing an opening week game on Wednesday in Australia. It's kind of flown under the radar, plus a couple trades we have to get to as well. Justin Fields on the move to the Chiefs. A couple others that I want to hit on as well. So we want to hit on some NFL topics as well. Plus there's a UFC fight card that is out there. MVP Productions, I guess, is that what the Paul brothers are going with? Sure. That we'll talk about that card on Netflix. And Matt Leinart had some interesting comments about letting somebody wear his retired jersey. A lot to get to. Before we do it, though, let me check in with my guy Mano, see what's going on. How we doing?
Great, brother. Everything is really good. Crazy around these parts. We're about a week out from our sales leadership summit down in Trump Doral, Miami. So things around here have been just chaos.
They're always. I don't think I've ever been here when it's not jamming here at Valuetainment.
Yeah, it's rolling, man. We're rocking pretty good. Like this one's a cool one, though. This one's about like some of the top sales leaders in the country kind of convened down here. We spend 2.5 days really learning, and it's crazy. You got to like be vetted to get there. It's awesome.
I love it. If
you want to go, guys.
Yeah,
sick.
For sure. Absolutely sign up for that. I was at dinner with my wife last week, a week ago, after our show. We went out for dinner, and the waiter was talking about, he was saying he wants to get into real estate. Good kid, talking to us. And he said, and my wife said, why'd you want to get into real estate? And he's like, well, I was at this, the Vault, and I was like, wait, and my wife goes, what'd you say? He goes, yeah, I was at the Vault. And I was like, whoa. I was like, no way. And so I was telling him to check out our pod because he's a fan of PBD, and he's a fan. He had a picture with Vinny that was pretty cool. Nice. So hopefully he's listening today. Shout out to my guy at Seagate, who hopefully is listening. Cool. I was in Minneapolis, Minnesota, with my 13-year-old for a volleyball tournament. And it was, you're expecting cold weather, but it's March, like it's almost spring. So it was mild when we showed up, but on Sunday, all of a sudden, there's a blizzard comes through. Now, our tournament finishes on Sunday at 9 a.m. We have a game at 8. We end up losing. We get knocked out, so we're done. I checked the flights. 300 flights canceled on Sunday. So I'm like, all right, call Delta, get a flight out first thing Monday morning. Able to get to the airport Monday morning. We had some fun. We were at the Mall of America, so I was just hanging out. My 13-year-old's great to travel with. She's still in an age where she has fun with me, so we had a blast. But then I get to the airport on Monday. Our flight's supposed to be at 8:55, so I'm hustling there, get there in enough time because they're saying all these TSA lines are out the door. It wasn't too bad. So I'm checking, where's my plane? It looks like it's on time. It says, boarding soon. So I told my daughter, I said, hold my phone. I'm going to go to the bathroom real quick, and then we'll go. Come back, and my daughter goes, I got bad news, Dad. I said, what? And she said, there's a 2-hour delay. Oof. And literally, she's telling me this, and I'm kind of collecting my bags, and she said, oh, no. She said, I just got another one. It's a 4-hour delay. 4 hours delayed, and I keep asking, well, what's the deal? Like, is it our plane? She said, well, I think you guys need a new bird. I was like, all right, whatever that means. I'm like, dude, don't give me the cool lingo. Give me a new plane is what you mean. And I said, well, is it here? Is 4 hours going to be the number, or are we going to be here 6 hours or whatever? She said, I think you'll be okay. So we watch a couple movies together at the airport, and then it says boarding, 4 hours delayed. So we get on the plane, load up all our stuff. Everybody's in there. They close the door. Pilot comes on. And he goes, ladies and gentlemen, I unfortunately have some bad news. He goes, we're going to be delayed a little bit longer. He goes, because we need to find a new crew because the crew has timed out. I guess there are laws, and I'm sure everyone who's traveled has heard that thing where they have certain shifts and they can't go overtime. He goes, so I need you guys to collect your bags. We're going to have to deplane. And he goes, the delay is going to be at least 2 hours from the already 4-hour delay. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So, and everybody was kind of stunned. Nobody was getting up and getting their bags. He goes, no. He goes, so everybody get your bags. We got to get off the plane. So we got off, Fortunately, 2 hours later, so 6 hours in total, we were able to board up and got home Monday night around 10 o'clock as opposed to about 3 o'clock.
Brutal day.
And some of the other things, so why we have a team text chat, there were 2 girls that got home today.
Oh.
They had their flights canceled on Monday and Tuesday, finally made it home Wednesday. Brutal travel. So if anybody's traveling out there, I feel for you. The weather was definitely an impact. Their TSA lines have been out the door.
Yeah.
It is rough going right now out there in the travel streets.
Yeah, I don't know if I concur totally with your it's starting to get warm in March thing. I feel like it's extending now. Like I feel like these winters.
Right.
I mean,
Even
I'm down here now. So like now I hear these jokers in New York who talk to me about like even down here, they'll talk to me about the winter, which is like 10 days.
Yeah.
But I'm like, guys, up in New York before I came down here, like it was really lingering into like April, early May. There were days you're outside like, oh man, I can't get comfortable yet, and it's extending. So don't believe that. Don't believe the hype that it's ending earlier. It's lasting.
It's definitely lasting.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're getting the spring here pretty soon. The good news is made it back in time to catch some of the World Baseball Classic championship game last night, and boy, it was an epic matchup. The world of baseball has just been infused with so much life because of this. I mean, you've seen the passion from the fans, the players, passionate, representing their home countries. And that was on full display with Venezuela, who, I don't know, I mean, just watching on TV, it's hard to tell, but it felt like it was 80-20. Venezuelan fans to USA fans. Now, it was probably a little bit better than that, but Venezuela fans are way louder than US fans. So maybe it just felt like 80-20. The players were passionate. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the big storyline here is Team USA, who almost missed the quarterfinals because they botched the whole, hey, what's our bracket status and our pool play? We are to get in there. They get in. So you're like, okay, thank goodness. We can still save our reputation as the best baseball country in the world. They come up small. Bryce Harper came up big with a game-tying, home run in the 8th, epic bat flip. Mm-hmm. It's awesome. Ties it up at 2-2.
Yeah.
But Venezuela comes through. Team USA, 3 hits on the night.
Totally. Three. And 2 of them went to Bryce.
And 2 of them went to Bryce.
Yeah.
Everybody else no-showed in that thing.
Right.
Flat is the right word for it. And Venezuela was on fire. There were some epic celebrations for them. Players giving great interviews. And Venezuela sits atop the baseball world.
100%, man. You're spot on with everything you said. The problem is, and no one wants to say it, just flat out, they sucked. Team USA sucked. They sucked yesterday, and they sucked for most of the tournament. I mean, there was one game out of the bunch that they really came in and like asserted their dominance, and that was against Brazil. So, I mean, say what you want. It's not soccer. Like, you beat Brazil by 10. You don't go, crying like, shouting like crazy about it. They faced a guy named Eduardo Rodriguez, who he's a major league pitcher. He's at a +5 ERA the last 2 years, and he absolutely blanked them for 5 1/3 yesterday. You said it best, man. 3 hits total. The offense was flat. And yeah, man, the entirety of the tournament, they really did not look great. At no point did they really. You think they got new life? Maybe that would infuse something in them when they backed into that second round. It just didn't happen that way. They squeaked by their next one. It was against the DR. I get it, and they're nasty, but yeah, man, it looked like Venezuela wanted it more. It looked like their fans were more passionate. I'll tell you one thing: like them or not, Ron DeSantis, the governor of Florida, tweeted something where he said, let's just do the whole thing in Miami every 4 years. And I was like, I love it, bro. Let's never move from here, because the demo that we have down here, the fans came out in droves, man. They were excited. And look, man, it's a problem. It really, you felt like the Dominican players were willing to die on that field, and the Venezuelan guys would have given anything for it, and it didn't get the same feel from the U.S. guys, man. It sucked.
No, not at all. I do think there's a level of passion that players from other countries have more passion than the U.S. team does. And I don't know if it's because we're spoiled, entitled, they make so much money. Like, does it really, really matter to them? Because it felt like it mattered more to even the DR or Venezuela or Japan or other teams. And I do think the players care when they're on the field, but I just don't know if there's that mindset of, man, this would be incredible to win this for our country. I think almost some of the players look at it individually, like, oh, this would be a nice check on my final resume, or just, at the end of my career, if I played in the World Baseball Classic and won it, that's great, but it's not the end of the world. I'm still going to make $30 million a year, whatever it is. And I know a lot of those other players make a ton of money too.
Right.
I just think they care more. I think they care. Maybe they're infused because the cultures that they come from, and when they go back and play winter ball in the DR or Puerto Rico or, wherever they're playing winter ball, and they come in contact with Venezuelans or Dominicans or Puerto Ricans, I just feel like they feel that passion more, and it means more to them.
Yeah, I think this passion for sports in general around the world is something that we see a lot of other places a lot more than us. You think about European football, right? You go to games like that, they are up on their feet the entire time. It almost reminds me of like Cameron Indoor here, where the guys just never sit down and they got these crazy cheers in unison. They've been rehearsed and they look and sound like this is the most important thing in the world. And yeah, man, we saw it for the duration of this whole tournament, man. I thought for a little bit they were super excited. Maybe they come over here trying to prove a point, like America is the big dog. We're trying to take what's theirs on their soil. But man, anybody who played anybody, we didn't even have to be involved in the games, and the games were incredible, man. And the fans, I know it rubs some people the wrong way.
Yeah.
But man, was it crazy? Like I can't imagine
the chanting. It's off the charts.
Yeah. Let me ask you this then. So let's talk about who deserves the blame for this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've got three that I think completely.
Are you going to call out your boy?
We're going to talk about it.
Call out
well,
your
the first
boy?
one I'm going to call is your boy. Because Mark DeRosa was a train wreck.
Yeah.
Mark DeRosa had one of the worst 2-week stretches I've ever seen a manager have in baseball. It started from the time that he didn't know the rules or what they had to do to successfully get into the second round. Right? That was incredible. That should never happen. He's been his lineups have been weird the entirety of the tournament. He sat Gunnar Henderson, who's been white hot, right? Sat him yesterday, didn't get him in the game. He's been hitting like crazy. And then he brought in Garrett Whitlock, who's the pitcher for the Boston Red Sox, right after Bryce Harper hits this mammoth home run to tie the game. The USA has all the momentum. The stadium is kind of loud, right? The players are jacked up. He brings in this guy who's got to kind of you can't put a crooked number up when you just tied the game.
Right.
And 4-pitch walk, and then he gives up he smokes a ball. Eugenio Suarez is probably one of the best 2 hitters on that Venezuelan team. He leaves a cockshot fastball right over the middle of the plate, and he drives it to the gap and scores their guy. And he leaves Mason Miller, who's been lights out the entire tournament, on the bench while he pitches this guy from the Red Sox. And I guess he was trying to save him for an inning that we never even ended up having. So that was another bad tick on DeRosa, man. What a tough tournament DeRosa had.
I do think it was tough for him. So he's managed this thing. This is his second time. So he did it in 23. He's doing it now in 26. Yeah, this will probably be the last time.
Yeah, it's got to be his last time.
A couple silvers there, runner-ups. Of course, they lost to Japan with that Shohei, Mike Trout.
Epic at bat,
which was awesome. Mm-hmm. I do think, and there's been some heat for DeRosa, even from the baseball community, just being like, hey, this guy's a broadcaster. But he's a lifer. He played a long time in Major League Baseball.
Definitely.
But I think there's something about it where I think he's probably going to get shown the door, and they're going to bring in somebody else to head up. So, all right, so you got D-Row.
So
who else you got?
Yeah, I'm taking it right to where you took me, man.
All
and it's
right.
Judge. And it wouldn't be fair if I give him all the love in the world if I didn't, take him to task when he does something wrong. Now, I think he's the best player on earth still. I do. But too many times to become part of that, like, special tier of player that go down in history in that epic wing of the hall, right? You need to deliver in the playoffs. Your numbers in the playoffs need to at least be what they are in the regular season, right? Or better.
Yeah.
And he finds himself up in so many crucial situations and just too many times. Now, look, he's got a couple of big moments. He hit that big home run off the foul pole this year. So he kind of shook the monkey off a little bit by hitting, 500 in the playoffs. But just too many big opportunities he's had to change games in championship settings, and he's come up small. And for a guy who has stats like he has, he belongs in that wing. And so far, man, that's the stigma that's attached to him. It's a tough one to shake until he wins his
right. And
a
you've
World
got
Series.
The only way to change the narrative is to do it.
Yeah.
To go out there and either get it done in a World Series, to come up clutch in a big game like last night or one of those games, because he's an incredible player. And it's probably opportunity. We've seen this happen all the time in the NFL with quarterbacks, right? And Peyton Manning for a long time couldn't win the playoff game. Couldn't get past Tom Brady. Couldn't get there until he did. Mm-hmm. LeBron James, early. He can't win the big one. Can't win the big one. Now, he did have to join up with a super team, but he ended up doing it. Like, he ended up doing it. It's not like Aaron Judge is surrounded by a bunch of chumps with the Yankees. I mean, they do it. So it kind of is what it is. and you're going to take that criticism until you actually do it. I have pretty good faith that he will get it done, but until then, it's going to be a narrative he has to change.
Hey, you know what? He's going to be 34 this year.
Oh my gosh, is he really?
34 this year.
I'm getting old. I'm telling you, goes by too fast.
I want to believe that he's going to be he looks like he's still in his prime. I mean, this year he had last year was just better than the year he had before. So nothing about it shows me he's slowing down. But Mother Nature, we know, is undefeated, and the Dodgers just keep getting better. The Blue Jays are a good team. We're continuing to get better, so they're making it where at one time I thought it was a foregone conclusion. He's going to get one.
Right.
Garrett Cole's he's coming off of Tommy John. He's off on the backside of his career. And you know what I think, bro? After watching that, I've never wanted Paul Skeens and pinstripes more. Holy cow, was he incredible?
That would be amazing.
How freaking good is he? I tweeted before the last game, like, man, what a comforting feeling as a fan to know you have a must win and you get to throw Paul Skeens.
Oh my gosh.
Was that not the best feeling?
He is special, man. I've been watching him since college at LSU.
Unbelievable.
And you know, to be able to deliver on the expectations is pretty rare.
Yeah,
and he's come in on a bad franchise and delivered and over-delivered on what you thought you could get him. He's incredible.
And everyone was wondering, we've never seen him pitch in a game that matters in Pittsburgh, so what would he show up and do in a game that matters?
No doubt.
Brother was lights out, man. He's right out of the gate, 99. Splinker looked crazy. Gave up an early home run, but kind of settled in. And then,
all right, so that's two. Do you have a third?
Dude, my third one's tough. I was at the point where I was like, Tarek Skubal should be deported. I was so mad at Tarek Skubal because Tarek Skubal comes in. We talked about it before. He's now, while Paul Skeens won the Cy Young in the National, Tarek Skubal's won back-to-back in the American League, right? So best pitcher in the American League. He comes in, he throws his 4 innings, and he retreats back to training camp, right? Well, this guy's got the balls to drive back to the stadium, put the USA hockey jersey on, and get caught walking in with the boys, and then just stay on the bench and say, I'm not pitching. Yeah. And I was just like, bro, you are here. You're in the building. It's spring training. We don't need 9 from you. Just show up a little bit. And I was getting in wars with people on Twitter. They're like, why would he risk it? Why would he risk that? I'm like, risk what? He's been training for this his entire life. He's going to go in there. He's going to pitch 4 innings. And look, this is when I said that's the difference in Team USA and these other teams.
Exactly.
Because Tarek Skubal not taking the mound because he's worried about his contract situation and what that might end up being. Am I going to take a liner back at me? It's unacceptable because I got the feeling that any one of these guys from one of these other countries, they've said it.
Right.
This is more important to us than the World Series.
And everyone's going to go back that defends a Skubal decision and say, well, look what happened to Edwin Diaz, right? My thing about sports is you cannot play scared.
Totally.
We see this in college football when guys skip bowl games. They're worried about getting hurt. We see players in contract years kind of shut it down because they don't want to get hurt. You can get hurt training in the offseason. You can get in a car accident and get hurt. You can get hurt coming down the stairs. Like we've seen freak injuries happen before. You are a professional athlete. Your job is to go out there and play the sport that you supposedly love.
Yeah.
If you get hurt, so be it. They're all protected from an insurance, policies perspective. So they're going to get that money at the end. To me, it is a mindset that has crept in to all of sports, and it's why I have to protect me, as opposed to putting the team or even the country in this case above your personal interest. And to me, it is a red flag of the type of player you are.
Yeah, oh, totally.
Or why do you play the sport? Do you play it because you love baseball, or do you play it because you want the big payday? And this is a big tell for me if you're not willing to put it on the line for a game or two.
You are 100,000% right about that, because the Yankee fan in me, who's such a glutton, and I've been saying, they look like they're going to move Skubal, man. Maybe we can go ahead and take a shot at getting Skubal. Bro, you can keep him. I don't want him anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
because you can't count on him.
No, because Garrett Cole last year, when he started to feel his elbow, was trying to still pitch until his arm fell off. And yeah, you're 100% right about that, man. That was so infuriating to me that they couldn't get him out there. And look, it's not like... It's like, what do you want? You want him to not throw a baseball the entire offseason so that by the time he gets to spring training, he's not hurt? That's not how these guys got here, by not taking these risks and not putting this work in. He's been training to do this since he's a little kid. And let's be real, he's going to pitch a game in the next 2 or 3 days just at spring training. So it's like, I mean, it was just absolutely insanity to me. The starting pitcher for USA didn't do bad, but imagine being able to bring that kid in on the back of Tarek Skubal going 4 1/3 or 5. You know what I mean? Back to back, because the kid McLean did okay. But oh my God, you would have missed the guy who wound up giving up the eventual losing home run.
Final thought on the World Baseball Classic. You mentioned Ron DeSantis and the tweet that he sent. If I'm the owner of the Florida Marlins, I am making them the Venezuelan national team. I'm telling you, like from a business model. Have you been to a Marlins regular season game?
Are you saying like I'm signing everybody from Venezuela?
Yes, I am trying.
Do it, bro.
And maybe it's not 100%, but I am doing everything I can. I'm hiring Miggy Cabrera as the manager. That's like, all right, he lives locally. And I am drafting players from Venezuela. I'm making trades to see what players I can get from Venezuela. Miggy Cabrera's last year with Detroit.
Yeah.
I went down to the game with my dad. And it was a regular season game. And my dad's like, hey, we got to go early. It's going to be hard to park. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's a regular season Marlins game. He goes, no. He goes, it's Venezuelan appreciation night, and Miggy Cabrera is going to be back. And it's packed. It's a full house.
Yeah.
If that is my business model, I don't even care if you're that good. I mean, you can't get much worse. I am making that my business model, making it a de facto Venezuelan national team. Because living here in South Florida, there have been so many Venezuelans due to the political issues and issues they've had in Venezuela that have escaped to come here to live. And we saw it on full display, the passion and the ability for them to spend money, support their team. They are way more passionate about baseball than Floridians are. If you win, sure, the Marlins fans will show up. But if it's just a team.
Well, then they just sell the whole team off anyway, the Marlins. Every time
exactly.
They win, so
I would start drafting younger players. I'd trade for as many players as I could and just make it a little de facto Venezuelan team.
I'll tell you a funny story. We have a group of guys who come here, and they're like a labor team that we use here, and they're awesome. And they're from different places, and I work with them all the time. I love them. We don't communicate great because obviously English is their second language and I don't speak great Spanish. Right. But long story short, for 2 weeks, one of the Venezuelan guys has been talking. We've never talked about sports before. Right. He was talking so much SHIT to me over the last 2 weeks about Venezuela. And we've been getting into it, bro. This kid is so passionate about it. I love talking to him about it. That's a phenomenal idea. And they got a couple of guys you can kind of hunker down around. A couple like foundational guys. Pay Ronald Acuna anything you want, right?
Exactly.
They had Luis Ariz down here, didn't they? And they let him get away?
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy. What a bad job
I'm telling you. That'd be a great business. You would definitely sell more tickets.
That would be phenomenal. That's a great idea.
I'm telling you. Do it, Marlins. Do it. Make it happen. All right, on to some NFL topics because we've seen some trades. Did this trade go down today or yesterday? I forget when this one went down exactly. Yesterday. I
don't know when it went through, but yesterday
the Miami Dolphins traded Jalen Waddle, one of their young key pieces, to the Broncos in return for a first-round pick, 2026, all 2026 picks, a first-round pick, third-round pick, and a fourth-round pick. That's a pretty good haul for a wide receiver.
They
it's
got
a great
real
move.
Good haul for him,
But I think this is an incredible move for the Denver Broncos. I think they are.
I'm a Chiefs fan. It scares me, man.
Right?
This one scares me.
How great would he be with Patrick Mahomes?
Phenomenal.
They've been missing the guy to pop the top, that speed demon, ever since Tyreek left. This is what he is. This is what he brings.
Well, I think it's a rare one that on paper, like I'm looking at it kind of looks like it suits both teams really well, right?
Because Dolphins are in rebuild mode.
Miami's they're not doing anything and they don't got the horses right now. So a first and a third and a fourth, you can get a real good player and two solid starters, right? With that haul like that. Yeah, it's worrisome in that AFC West now because we're talking Jalen Waddle, we're talking Cortland Sutton, Marvin Mims, who's like sneaky good. He doesn't get a ton of love, but he kind of came out of the gates. He's the one who caught that deep ball from Jarrett Stidham before they stopped throwing the football in that last game. Yeah, man, that was worrisome to me. I saw it and I went immediately. I said, "Oh crap, bro! Denver just got better." Denver still they sleep on them. They were a 1 seed last year.
Yes,
like they're a nice
and they
little
just
team,
got better. Bo Nix is probably going to continue to improve. Sean Payton is awesome. The defense is
absolutely
lights out. I think they might. They haven't moved much. The Bills are still up there as a favorite, but this is one of those types of moves that I think puts the Broncos squarely in the conversation as a Super Bowl contender. I think he means more off the field, what he brings to the locker room. I'll tell you why.
Tell me.
I've been able to interview him a couple times. We go down with SiriusXM. I go down and do a little training camp tour, and we visit with some of these players. Two things. One, when he was in college, if you remember this, 2020 was his last year.
Yep.
And he was hurt in October 17th against Georgia. He goes down with an injury. And this is pre-NIL. And anytime a player got hurt leading up to the draft, and this drove me nuts. It's kind of what we were talking about with the baseball.
Yeah.
Every analyst, every college football person say, oh, he should just shut it down. Shut it down. Get ready for the NFL. Get ready for the draft. And a lot of players were. You know what he did? He came back for the championship game against Ohio State.
Yep.
And he played. And he only had 3 catches for 34 yards. He didn't play a lot. I asked him about that.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm a football player.
Hell yeah.
I want to win a national championship and be a part of it on the field, not just watch it. He said, if I was healthy, I was going to play.
Good.
And he did. And I've talked to him since then about that. I've talked to him, you get a vibe with Jalen Waddle that he loves the game of football. Right. He wants to leave a legacy as a player and what he does on the field. He gets what it does. He gets what it takes to prepare in the offseason, what it takes to prepare during the season. When you're one of those first guys in, last guys out type of guys, that is Jalen Waddle, and I think that might be one of the biggest assets they get from him is the mentality that he brings into that locker room. A competitor who wants to actually be a part of a team, isn't worried about how many stats, how many catches I get, how many touchdowns, when's my next contract. The guy wants to win, and I am so happy for him. I'm bummed as a Dolphin fan, but I don't think he was ever going to win one in Miami, and now he's got a chance to win one in Denver. I'm pumped up for him, and I think it's a huge get for the Broncos.
And you know what? I think that kind of really vibes with the culture they're building out there in the Broncos because I get that feeling from Bo Nix, and I get that feeling from Cortland Sutton, and I get that feeling from the guys on the defensive side. And I think Sean Payton, I don't know what I think about him. You probably have a better feel for him as like a man than me.
Yeah.
But man, I feel like that's top down there. I feel like the whole organization, they run like that, so he's going to fit in fine. And he's a problem out there, man. He plays like it's real important to him. So again, the Chiefs fan in me is this is a big one. Yeah, this is a worrisome one.
Concerned for sure. We've seen in the AFC quite a bit moves. The Bills bringing DJ Moore, they trade for him.
Yes, that was a big one.
The Patriots got Romeo Doubs in free agency
got a big
from
deal
Green Bay.
Real big deal.
But there is another wide receiver who I think either the Bills or Patriots should sign, and they have to trade for him, is A.J. Brown. Because A.J. Brown, it feels broken in Philly. And I think the Patriots are the one spot. If I am the Patriots, I am making moves to bring him in because I think Romeo Doubs is a good number 2.
Yeah, I agree.
And if they bring A.J. Brown, he's a clear-cut
got a good contract, though, didn't he?
Yeah.
Dobbs got a real good contract.
Yeah, he got a real good contract, but I still don't think he's a 1.
Okay.
And here's where I think it makes sense because A.J. Brown could be a headache, right? That's what he's been. He's complaining, but I don't think the quarterback play has been great. Say what you want about Jalen Hurts. I think that frustrates A.J. Brown. I think Drake May is a way better quarterback than Jalen Hurts. Mike Vrabel knows A.J. Brown from his time with the Tennessee Titans. And I don't think he wanted to trade him to Philly. It was part of the dissension that took place between Vrabel and his GM, which actually led to Vrabel no longer being there. How'd that work out? I think it's the one spot, even more so than the Bills, because Bills with Joe Brady, he's a young coach, first time. I think Vrabel commands respect.
Yeah.
And I think A.J. Brown would respect him, and I think he would love to play with Josh McDaniels and Drake May. And I think that would put the Patriots kind of back in the forefront of the AFC.
Yeah, totally. 100%. Everything you said, I agree with. I do get the vibe, though, from A.J. Brown, and I don't know. I get that Ayuk vibe from him. Like, he's just never,
not
ever
accountable.
happy.
Right.
Every time something's wrong, you sign him to a new deal, he gets his new deal, he complains about his new deal like a couple of months later. I feel like these guys are just never happy. They get comfortable in a place quick, and then they want to get out before you know it. And that's the vibe I get from him. I mean, nothing bad you can say about his play. But he also, let's be at the same time.
He had a lot of drops.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
He was a first one to call, and he didn't do it publicly, but first one that came out that he was having a hard time with playing with Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts would drop one in his basket, and he'd drop it.
Right.
So, yeah, that's tough for him, man. But that would be a game changer, man. That would definitely change things up.
Because I do think the Bills and Patriots are still in the mix for him. Another trade with a quarterback. How sad are you? Are you devastated that Justin Fields is no longer on the Jets? Are you okay?
I'm going to live. Yeah, I'm going to live, certainly.
I think every quarterback comes to this point in their career.
Yeah.
I remember mine was earlier than later, where when I went to Atlanta, I had played 3 years with the Giants and I signed with the Falcons, and I went to back up Chris Chandler.
Okay.
And I think this is similar. Chris Chandler was a veteran. And I was thinking like maybe I could be his successor, but it was I was realizing, you know what? Maybe I'm going to be a backup. And I think that might be where Justin Fields is. Because you're not going to play unless Patrick Mahomes gets hurt. He is coming back from a major injury.
Totally.
So you want to be there. But I just feel like, and this is a great opportunity for him to grow and watch the greatest that's out there.
Totally.
But this to me says that maybe we don't see Justin Fields as a starting quarterback ever again, except in spot time.
Well, the cool thing for him is, like you said, they're gonna treat this offseason like he's the starter. So he'll get like a number 1 quarterback offseason in. He'll get a ton of reps. He'll get to be around Andy Reid a ton.
The best part is the Jets are eating the $7 million out of the 10.
100%, right? and I couldn't honestly. I'm gonna give the Jets GM some credit. He got a late round pick for Justin Fields. I didn't think he'd get anything.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they managed to get a 6th out of it. But this is what I want to say. I want to say this is how you know that Kansas City is still the team, and I'll tell you why, all right? Because anywhere else that Justin Fields goes, people are like, it doesn't matter, he sucks. Like 3 teams quit on him already. But he goes to Kansas City, and what do you hear? He's still kind of young. Maybe Andy Reid can get something out of him. You know, that's a good spot for him.
Yeah.
And that's why I know people still sort of fear the Chiefs, and I think they think that they're going to be back in the mix. I think they'll find a cool way to use them in special packages.
Yeah.
Right? I think there'll be times when both of them are in the game.
Right.
You know
Because
what
I don't think you run Wildcat or you can't take Mahomes off the field.
No, I think there'll be a package where they're both in the game.
Right.
You'll have 2-point plays with them. You know, there's a bunch of things. I mean, I'd put him in the backfield and hand him the football sometimes. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's 24 years old. Go do 2-3 years behind there. And you know what, though? The weird thing about him is, like, until you see him, like, for long spurts, he looks good. Like, if you remember how he came into the Pittsburgh, the first couple of games, he looked great.
Yep.
The Jets' first game this year, he looked outrageous. So when he's in there in spurts, and it happens every year, Mahomes is going to get nicked up, right? The offensive line there has never been great. He runs around too much to stay healthy the whole year anyway, Mahomes. So he's going to get some time on the field. And you know what? Just play a little, just show what you learn. Be serviceable.
Yep.
You don't have to be a hero. Just go in there and don't ruin things. You saw it happen with Chad Henne a couple of times, right? Chase Daniel for a bunch of years. You just come in a little bit and just keep the ship steady.
And maybe you get a Super Bowl ring out of it.
Or maybe you make somebody believe you're Malik Willis and you can play. You know what I mean? Like, that's one we didn't really touch on a ton. I don't know what I've got in Malik Willis. I watched him play like 4 games.
You know what it feels like to me? When the Jets signed Justin Fields. It's about the same contract. You know, it's a little bit, it's like I think that $20-25 million a year range,
Is that for
2 or
Malik?
3 years. Yeah.
I thought it was a little higher than that.
It was, but it was 3 years. I think it's only 2. I think like the number sounds bigger.
Got it.
But I think the Dolphins are essentially giving him the chance to be the franchise quarterback with a very limited body of work.
And they'll do it in those 2 years that they're rebuilding anyway, that we just talked about. Yeah, that's what it is. He did get him a nice deal off of like 6 games, though.
Yeah. Oh,
right. Very
big
Matt
time.
Flynn of him.
Yeah, you can. Exactly. You can fool him out there. Good for you for being able to secure that money.
Yes, absolutely.
The other news that made waves was Max Crosby, who has finally come out and talked. I think it's his own podcast that he's talking on, when he talked about his visit with the Ravens. I believe we've got some of this sound of Max Crosby. Some of the surprising details that he talked about included him never even meeting Eric DaCosta, the GM.
Crazy. Isn't that crazy?
I don't know if we've got it. Oh, there we go. There he was.
At my MRIs, like, I didn't, like, I was asking Joe, like, yo, like, could I, like, before I left, I wanted to see the head coach and just chop it up, talk football, talk ball. Like, he's a defensive guy. Never met him before like that, so I wanted to chop it up. So I didn't get to meet with him till the end of the day. I didn't get to see the GM at all. I thought I was going to see him when I first got there. I didn't see him for 5 hours.
So he didn't come out the whole time you're testing or doing your physical. Everyone's talking about
Never.
The GM never came once out to see you.
And I don't know why. I'm not going to speculate. I didn't see him one time. I even asked the girl. I was like, "Where's Eric at?" Like, I want to say, like, you know what I mean? Like, he just made the trade. Like, I didn't see him for 5 hours. So I go and do my thing. At the end, they're like, "Yeah, I'll take you up." Joe was like, "I'll take you up and you go see the head coach, whatever, just before you leave." I was like, "Hell yeah!" I was like, "That's what I want to say what's up to him." So I went back up, and I dap him up, and you could just tell like the energy was a little bit off. And the GM was standing in like the hall, like in the room next to me to the right. And that was the first time I seen him. And, you know, I'm just in my head, like, this is a whirlwind. Like, I'm so excited, like, fired up. You know what I mean? Like, this is a new opportunity, whatever. And you could just tell the energy was off. Like, I dapped him up. He had like a blank face. And I'm like, okay. I'm not thinking anything of it. Maybe he's just different. I don't know. I don't know him, whatever. I go into the room. They sit me down on the couch. And he's like, "Man, I don't know how to say this, but, you know, one of our doctors has concerns with the results and whatever, and like with your knee, like some of them have, are concerned about the future and da-da-da-da-da. And, we really want you and this is what it is, but, we're just going to have to get more and more opinions. And I was like, the first thought in my head, like, I was terrified because I'm thinking in my head, like, what the fuck? Like, I just had, like, Neil Elitrosh,
right,
best fucking surgeon in the country, like the best of the best. He's done all my surgeries for the most part. Like, that's my guy. Like, I go to his house. Like, that's my dude. Like, he's the best. So I haven't even got to talk to him, or I hadn't got to talk to CJ at that point. So it just kind of hit me. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's good, guys. We can cut it there. Thank you, guys.
That's pretty wild.
Well, everything about that is wild.
Yes.
It's wild for so many different reasons, right? First, they're treating this guy like he's some random slapnut, right? This guy was traded for 2 first-round picks. He's a first-team All-Pro. He's one of the best in his position of the last 5 years. and they're treating him like he's some. Did you hear how he got there? Did you hear
Yes,
that?
they flew him commercial.
They flew him commercial, and they dropped him off 5 hours away. Him and his family had to drive the rest of the way. So, like, the energy right there for me would have been a red flag would have went up. Something's not right here. First of all, there's that part. Then to leave a guy sitting there for 5 hours with nobody of any importance coming down to speak to him, and then to scare him into thinking, because they said, I actually got the vibe from him when he was talking, like, he was real worried about his knee. Like, Doc, is my knee? He called his doctor right away, Neil Elitrach, who is supposed to be one of the best surgeons. He's the Aaron Rodgers speed bridge guy.
Yep.
He did all these guys. And he said to him, like, is my knee good? And the doctor had to take him through, like, the steps of his recovery. Like, listen, man, you're good right here. So this guy's in here not knowing what's going on in a new building. They didn't, what a terrible, man, we talked last week. I'm sorry to cut you off. We talked last week about the black eye that this is for the Ravens, man. That is grimy. That sounds really, really bad if I'm a player.
So when you see all this, to me, it feels like the Ravens knew. And because they didn't want to waste any more money, they felt like, oh, man. I think what the Ravens probably did when they made this deal was it was a leverage play. Because they were probably talking to Trey Hendrickson's agent before all this went down. And they were probably like, you want how much? There's no way we're paying you 30 plus. There's no way we're paying you that. And Trey Hendrickson's agent was probably like, we're sticking on our number. And so the Ravens were like, all right, then we're going to go out and we're going to get Max Crosby. And somewhere along the line, maybe right before they booked his travel and this deal was announced, Trey Hendrickson's representation called up the Ravens, said, you know what? Oof. We might be willing to come a little bit lower. We didn't realize how serious you were about making this move. And that's where we got to where we are. Because I think the Ravens used it as leverage. And maybe it was an insurance plan. But at some point, they came to the realization that they could get a similar player for way less money without having to give up two first-round picks.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's a no-brainer, which I think everybody would do. But the way it played out does look shady. And I think they lost a lot of trust. I think people that do business with the Ravens from here forward with Eric DeCosta, they're going to be very, very wary of what type of deal they broker.
Yeah, we spoke about that. That's super worrisome because they have really they're one of those organizations that have had the same infrastructure in place for a really long time, right? They had, obviously, they had Coach Harbaugh there, and then they had Ozzie Newsome. Is Ozzie Newsome gone now? Mm-hmm. So they had Ozzie Newsome in there for the longest time. So for so long, they built up such a beautiful reputation. Like those, you saw when Harbaugh left Baltimore. He had just lost his job, and people were lining up saying, we want to work with this guy. And he was immediately the top candidate, right? So they had built up tons of goodwill in that front office over probably 3 decades since like Ray Lewis and them were there.
Oh, yeah.
And man, they got rid of that super quick. They haven't even played a game yet.
The only thing I'm bummed about is that the Raiders don't play the Ravens next year.
Oh, that's crazy.
I wish they would. And I do think it's going to be interesting because I think people are going to compare Max Crosby to Trey Hendrickson all season long. Like who got the better end of the deal.
Right.
Who's looking like they came out on top. It does put some pressure on the Ravens and Trey Hendrickson.
And Cam Hayward came out on a podcast. Cam Hayward plays for the Steelers. And he said, I talked to Max Crosby, and Max Crosby's got a fire under him. Now he says,
my gosh.
F the Ravens. I'm going to stick with the Raiders. And I think now that's cool. If I'm a Ravens fan and I thought I lost my favorite player, and now I know he's back and he's hungry, man, figure that one out. Let's see him stay there for a long time and do well. That'd be really cool to see.
Definitely. They don't play each other, but we do have another matchup that kind of flew under the radar a little bit. The NFL will have a Wednesday game to open 2026 with the 49ers and Rams in Australia being played either Wednesday or Thursday as part of that opening weekend. Typically, that Thursday night game is the big debut. I hope they do it Wednesday because you know how long it takes to get to Australia? It's a full day just to get there.
Well, what time of day is it here? Like, are they going to play at like 6 in the morning here?
Yeah, because we get the morning games, I guess.
Yeah.
I remember there was a college game that took place over there, and I want to say it was like 11 a.m., but that doesn't make, I don't think they kick off 11 p.m. The time difference is significant. I don't know exactly what it would work out to, but if I'm a coach, I do not want this game.
This is what I wanted to ask you. So we as athletes, we're creatures of habit, right? You're trying to find a routine and find a rhythm to start your season. How much does that throw you off as a organization, as everything, knowing that you got to take a trip? And this is in England where you're going 6 hours.
Right.
So what does that do to
this is on the other side of the globe. I mean, there haven't been any studies on this because we haven't seen any teams to go do it. But we see kind of the hangover effect in college football and the NFL too, when you go across the pond, and that's, like you said, it's only a 6-hour flight. This is going to be much more significant than that.
Right.
That's why I would encourage them to start it even earlier, make it the Wednesday, give them an extra day to recover on the way home. But that is a big. The NFL needs to stop trying to force the NFL on the globe. It's okay if Australians don't love it, if Brazil doesn't love it, if Mexico doesn't love it. Why do we have to make this a traveling road show? It's taking its toll on the players. They don't love it. And it's all about trying to secure more worldwide fans who I don't even know if they grasp the concept.
Well, I agree with you there, where it's like, look, let's stop pushing our stuff on everyone else. They got their games, but they do really sell everything out. They sell a ton of merch.
They do.
The guys still seem like they're super into it wherever they end up going. But yeah, this is one that's tough. This is a tough one to... I think schedule and routine and habit for athletes is massive. And to start off a long, grueling season, especially these teams that expect to be playing for a long time, this is a tough one to just, you hope they have long enough. I think they'll probably get back on, I guess it ends up being Sunday, and hopefully they have like the week, right? That'll be it.
I would hope so. Get back on schedule a little bit.
Yeah.
The WNBA has been in a pretty contentious negotiation with their league, the players have, trying to get a new deal and a new CBA. It does look that they have a verbal agreement. And boy, well, I will say this. It is not what some of the players were talking about, because they said they wanted to be paid the same as LeBron James, and how could Asia Wilson not get the same? It's not going to be quite that lucrative, but it is a pretty significant bump, with the salary cap going from $1.5 million to $7 million. Average salaries going from around 300 minimum to above. The average range is 600, minimum above 300. All of those significant pay bumps, including a Supermax contracts at $1.4 million.
Yeah, those are incredible numbers. They're not NBA numbers, as you said, but if you know sort of the history and how this league has worked, I'm concerned how they wind up as a league that's never, they've never turned a profit in a single season. Everything they've done has pretty much been sort of lifted up by the NBA. How do they even stay afloat paying players $300,000 a game, right? And I think they really, unfortunately, I hate to say it, I think they dropped the ball when it came to capitalizing on Caitlin Clark's arrival, because 2 years ago, that league was humming, man. They had everything going for them. Their arenas were sold out. Everywhere Caitlin would go, they would have to move somewhere bigger. Their TV rights were starting to take shape because people were watching the games. And then what everybody feared, and I think what everybody knew, she got hurt last year.
Right.
And she missed a ton of time, and all that buzz that they had sort of generated was gone. And that's something you almost wish that the players would have saw sooner, because I kept saying to myself, guys, you don't realize that every time you take an elbow to this girl's head, you send her one crash closer to missing time. And then I think
the
they're a year
way
too
Caitlin
late.
Clark has been treated has been an absolute joke. The
crazy.
Players are jealous. They don't like her, all the attention she's gotten, and they beat her up until she was knocked out.
Yeah.
And they are lucky to get this deal, and in big part, it's because of Caitlin Clark. They should be thanking the NBA.
Well, my question...
because the NBA is making a lot more money. The WNBA makes no money. And I get they want more, because every other athlete, every other sport, the cap keeps going up and you keep getting bigger deals.
Yeah.
So I get it from that standpoint. I think this is a great deal for the WNBA players.
It's incredible. It's almost too good to be true. But my question for you is, if you're the NBA, you can float a player getting paid $75,000 for a little while. How long not making money, does this end up being detrimental to the league in 5 years or 10 years? Because how long can you pay the 12th girl on the bench who never sees the floor $300,000 if you're the NBA and you're responsible for picking up that bill?
Still, what was it, $7 million a team?
Yeah,
payroll. I think that's a line item for most NBA franchises.
Yeah, but
I think it's, and they've been more than willing to float the bill on it for this long. They'll just keep floating.
But don't they say that's how a rich person stays rich?
Yes.
Is they don't spend $7 million a year on nothing? They're just throwing $7 million a year away.
Yes, but I think they feel like they're doing something good. And so they're going to keep these guys playing, and good for them for getting more money.
Well, look,
hopefully it does prevent them. And this is one thing that you don't like. They had to go to Russia, had to go to China,
Totally. It was
had
terrible.
to go across the world to get the money they can get.
Yeah.
So good for them, they can have a more normal life and not have to travel all over the globe.
Well, what I hope ends up happening is because there is another generation of this generation is good. There's a girl from SC who's supposed to come up.
Juju Watkins.
Juju Watkins is nasty. She's supposed to take take a run at Caitlin Clark's records.
Yep.
She'll be like the new wave. Paige Beckers is sick, and she plays real well on
Mm-hmm.
TV. Like, she's very likable. She's like got a cool story. She plays with some
Yeah.
She plays
it's
with
a
some
step
juice.
in the right direction for
Yeah.
the league. And I think that's what probably this is an investment in the future. They're hoping that eventually they'll get the growth that they haven't seen, for the history of the league. But there are some more players coming up, which make it more exciting and more, hopefully profitable for them.
And I hope that they get that same juice that they got with Caitlin, and it ends up being sustainable, because it almost feels like a charity, and it sucks for the girls who are really do bust their chops to get, where they are. But it sucks. A lot of people look at it like it's just a charity case. And like Caitlin Clark she was something real. Like, she had something there. You know what I mean? And I just hope that they could find that again and capitalize on it.
All right, what do we got here? Little
crazy.
fight action here. This is a pretty good card. We were talking last week about, UFC's cards since Paramount's taken over.
Yep.
They haven't exactly been celebrated. And I know when you were talking about the White House ticket, couple of names on here. I know you mentioned Nate Diaz, kind of bummed he wasn't on there.
Yeah.
This is one, Francis Ngannou. I mean, when I'm a casual, so when I know some of the names, I'm like, oh, that's some star power. This is pretty good star power for this Netflix card.
Very good star power. And the last thing you said is probably the most important thing, because look, you'll watch that for free. You pay for Netflix already, right?
Yeah.
So I'll sit down and I'll watch that. Like, is Nate Diaz and Mike Perry past their prime? Yeah, they're probably not going to fight. They'll never be in the top 5 in the MMA rankings
Don't let Nate hear
again.
you say that.
Oh, but I love him. But I think Nate has kind of been like a win 2, lose 1 guy for like the last 15 years. He's just so celebrated because of his fighting style and kind of the way he carries himself. But yeah, I mean, look, it's and this is where I think where the UFC got a lot more flack than they probably should have, is that the UFC card at the White House is not a bad card. It's a bad card for the White House. And the problem with that is that they juiced it up like it's going to be 6 title fights, and Connor's going to be the 3rd fight. And everyone was like, oh, Connor's going to be the 3rd fight? That means Jones got to be fighting. That means this guy's got to come out of retirement. And we're like, oh, this is going to be crazy. And they set the bar too high for themselves. And that's why the White House card, which is going to end up being a fine card, came off as such a disappointment. But the problem is, too, that you're going to pay $89.99 for, or whatever. I don't know, whatever you pay for Paramount.
Right.
You have to pay for that on top of.
Hey, watch out, Paramount. Oh, it's an addition? I thought it was $6, but it's only Paramount.
Is that how it is? Oh,
so
you
like,
just.
yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to pay per view.
Oh, that's good to hear.
That was the big thing where the big winner with the Paramount deal was
Gotcha.
the UFC fans, because it's only $6 or $7 a month for Paramount Plus.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. I feel like these fights probably 10 years ago would have got me super jacked up. But like right now, it comes off. Look, it's great. It's good enough where I'll probably tune in and see how it goes. But I mean, look, I don't think from a championship standpoint or a competitive standpoint, it really. But yeah, it's going to be a great one. I mean, if you ask me if they got these names on here, would I be surprised? I would have been very surprised, because now look, like from what I've heard, now Nate Diaz has closed the door on UFC. Like, I think UFC, they're sort of like, they are over there. They're a little like egotistical and hard-headed.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to welcome him back for that Conor fight now.
Right.
So I heard I guess he must have gotten paid pretty well. And Ngannou has sort of like a storied, beef with the UFC. What I think a lot of people were thinking was, did you hear what Dana White came out and said about John Jones when they were asking him about the White House card?
When he said he was what did he say?
Well, he said, like, first of all, he said we weren't negotiating with him, which came out obviously not true. Like, they were negotiating with him. But then he sort of trashed him and was like, listen, this guy's got arthritic hips. He's never going to fight again. We saw him playing in a flag football game where he looked like he was an old man running around. So in theory, his time in the UFC is over.
Right.
So John Jones was like, 2 days ago, you tried to lowball me, and if I would have accepted, then my hips would have been fine. But he goes, that I want my release. So I think immediately people thought, oh, damn, he wants his release, and Francis is a free agent. Ooh. Like, maybe we can make that one happen. And that one would have moved needles. Epic. But this should be cool, man. I'm excited. I'll watch it. I love Gina. I think she's got a cool story.
Yeah. Do you think it'll be competitive? Rousey.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I don't think Ronda Rousey's very good. I think she was ahead of her time. I think she did one thing incredibly well. She wasn't very well-rounded. Like, someone told her along the way that she was a boxer. Then she tried to stand in front of Amanda Nunes, and she got erased in like 30 seconds. So, yeah, but Gina was always really good. That should be a fun one. The thing about Ronda Rousey is, if you watch like WWE, she's made herself like the heel, and they call like over the last decade, she's come off so hateable. And Gina's kind of the opposite. She's like sympathetic now because of how her story went. She's super sweet when you talk to her. So now I'm invested in that because I kind of want to see Gina just wipe the floor with her.
There we go.
That's cool.
I want to see how that goes down. All right, last story I wanted to hit on. Matt Leinart, former Heisman Trophy winner at USC, does a great job broadcasting with Fox. He had some interesting comments. I'm curious to know what you thought of those, because he says There's been multiple times where people at USC have asked me if I would unretire my jersey for some 5-star prospect. I said, absolutely bleeping not. Your thoughts?
Well, I'm someone who came up as a Yankee fan, so I'm going to take them out of this equation completely
Right,
because
those
they
numbers
retire
are-
everybody's number. I'm telling you, we've talked about the Hall of Fame, man. I always thought Hall of Fame and retired number were reserved for different type of special players. So once you get that honor, and let's be real, I don't know, I grew up with, like Leinart was when I was in high school or middle school.
Him and Reggie Bush's squad.
I mean, they deserved, if any two players deserve to have their numbers retired at a university, Matt Leinart's probably one of them. And I don't know, he didn't have the NFL career I think we thought he might have. But I mean, if it was going to be anybody to get it there, he deserves it. I think, guys, if you're going to be a university and pull the trigger on that, there's no turning back, right? How do you feel?
So my initial hunch was I was like, man, this feels kind of petty. Like it feels a little ego driven. Like why would I let anybody wear my number? Like I want it to be exclusive. But then listening to the reason, I agree with Matt Leinart 1,000% because he even referenced today's player in high school, the average 5-star, may not even be there longer than 1 year. So you would bestow this incredible honor of letting him wear your storied jersey, number 11, where you gave your blood, sweat, and tears to the university. And there's a pretty good chance, a pretty good likelihood that the kid doesn't even there in a year.
Yeah.
I say amen. Good for you for taking a stand because it does, and sadly it does speak a lot to the landscape in college athletics where players are bouncing around and you can't trust them. There was a story that came out this fall with Troy Aikman.
Okay.
Troy Aikman was upset because he gave, I think it was around $50,000. It might have been more. He said it was a significant sum to UCLA to secure a quarterback that one never thanked him. He said, I never got a thank you.
From UCLA or for the quarterback?
From the quarterback. He said he thought he would get something. And then number two, the quarterback was only there 1 year.
That's incredible.
So I think it's similar. I think people are starting to realize, and a lot of them are former players because there's desperate fans and people who kind of want to feel like owners, so they'll give whatever money to college teams. But I think more of the former players are like, I'm not giving anything to these players because they have no loyalty and no dreams of playing for USC or UCLA or wherever you went. So I say good for Matt Leinart for taking a stand. He did say, he's like, I would only let one of my sons wear it. If they want to wear it, I'll let them do it. And I would have said, he said never. I would say if there's a story of a kid that maybe comes there for 2 years and he plays okay, but he wants to wear it for his senior year or something like that, I think, and I even think Matt would probably come out and say, sure, I'll let you do it. But I say good for him for taking a stand. And I think, sadly, it says more about the landscape today of players that, probably may have lost a deal and maybe didn't go to USC because they couldn't wear 11, but they probably would have been there for the long term anyway. Yeah,
if you're somebody who's going to be swayed by that, like if I'm in between two schools, I mean, you loved Florida State. If they told you, Danny, you can come here, but you're not going to get to wear your high school number, and that turned you off enough, then you really didn't love Florida State, right?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. So if that's the... Dude, college athletics, I want to spend 30 seconds just with a story of that I learned this week, right? So I trained a kid who is probably one of the best humans. He's a phenomenal kid, right? He played at a really smart Division III school, and he graduated in 3 years. He was like an all-conference kid there. So he was looking to transfer, right? He's trying to transfer to Villanova, which is in the Patriot League. It's like a lower Division I team. But he was told, because you graduated, we don't accept grad transfers, right? So basically, if he would have saved one class or just like screwed around in school and would have transferred as a non-graduate, they would have accepted him on the team. So like everything about the college sports landscape is ass backwards to me right now. I was trying to talk to his dad, like, let me just make sure I got this straight. So your kid did what he was supposed to do in the classroom and graduated from one of the hardest Division III schools, like one of those baby Ivy schools. And he graduated and got a tough degree in 3 years and managed to be an all-conference player and was desperate to play one more year ball. I love it so much. I want to play as a senior. I think I want to go to Nova. And they accepted him into the school. He was good enough to play special teams there and stuff like that. And they were like, unfortunately, we're not going to accept you on the team because you're a grad transfer. And so I was basically like to his dad, like, if your kid would have taken an easy schedule and just finished his... So they're going to reward some kid who didn't do his job in school. It's just so ridiculous. The whole landscape of college sports right now make me sick. So
that shows you how backwards things are right now.
Very frustrating, especially for the kid.
In the college landscape.
Yeah.
All right, want to do reactions first or rip some cards? What do you want to
do? Dude, I've been looking at that box for
I know, me too. Let's rip some cards.
That's a great box.
Couple reactions. I know. I just picked this up on the way here. And so let me see your pen real quick.
So what we got, guys, is a box of Donruss Optic Hobby. And hobby boxes are what they send to like the shops. So They tend to be decent. Like we're expecting. I mean, Danny looked at the box and kind of was like, "It's not really all that." And I think Danny's going to be surprised because inside that box, we're chasing 2 inserts now. The downtown is like one of the mother loads. That's what you want, and then the uptown, which is right behind it. So I don't know that we're going to get it in one of these, but Danny might have one in there somewhere.
Why does that one have the? Oh, they all do. They all do. I was wondering what that was right there. All right, we got to hit something. I want an uptown or a downtown is what I want to do. Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
2 and 2. Let's see what we got.
It's a great box. When you sent me this one, I was like, this is
class,
exciting.
This is good.
2024 is all the quarterbacks.
Jarrett Stidham couldn't get it done in the playoffs.
Well, they didn't let him throw the football.
That's
let's
right.
be honest.
Zay Flowers.
Nice.
Solid. I need some color. I see some color. It's always in the back.
You go.
Romeo Dobbs, we talked about him getting traded today. Adam
This guy's such a
Thielen.
solid player. I like Adam Thielen.
Forrest Buckner. Derwin James. Shout out Florida State. I mean, these are good players. This is what drives me nuts because I think those players should be worth more, but they're not.
Yeah.
All right, who we got? A rated rookie. We got a Will kicker. What are we doing?
Oh,
and then Rukarororo for the Falcons.
Okay. All right. So not the best one, but hey, look, this box is a good box.
You're going to see me throw something on here sooner or later.
Let's go. Let's trend.
I'm going to dig deeper in here, too.
Come on, baby. What you're looking for is like
uptowns or downtowns are good colors. You see anything?
I see a couple back there. I don't know if it's what we're looking for. There's Jameson Williams, absolute burner. Von Miller, the ageless one. Anthony Richardson, who could be on the move soon, I heard.
Yeah.
Zach Moss.
He's on the move to the end of his playing career. That's what he's on the move to.
Speaking of quarterbacks on the move, Justin. We got Saquon.
Yep.
Jeremy Rucker, shout Long Island's finest Jeremy Rucker.
There you go.
Isaiah Simmons. Cameron Jordan. All right, here we go. All right, this is going to be the first one. Come on, let it be.
Come on.
It's not a downtown, I know that, but let's see what we got.
Stripe on it.
There we go. L'Jarius Sneed, former Chief.
Yeah.
And we've got a Malachi Corley, which is not great. And we got a Xavier Leggett. Okay.
Garbage.
That's all right.
Garbage. I mean, this should be like fails. Like, it's just that we should just be fails is all we're doing.
I'm telling you, there's be something in that box. It's a matter of when you get it.
Kelsey, Micah Parsons. Again, really good players. The cards are garbage. A.J. Dillon, I got no colors. Jim Hubbard, Najee Harris, A.J. Brown. No nothing. No numbers. Avon Thibodeau. He's got to play a lot better. Ooh. Oh, we got Daniel Jones. Logan Thomas. And Adonai Mitchell. A.D. Mitchell. Logan Thomas. Whatever happened to this dude?
Oh, that's a cool back. Is that one numbered? Is the Logan Thomas numbered?
No, but even if it was, I don't think it would be worth anything.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something, man. I pulled a downtown Ashton Genty out of here once, and it snuck up on me. I didn't know it was in there, and it was the best.
I'm going to bonus pack.
Come on, man. Get one.
I really want to get one.
Let's go. All right, here we go. All right. I think I see the same color here. We got Deshaun, obviously. God. No one's talking about Deshaun. James Conner. Lil Jordan Humphrey. Craziest name in football. Yeah. Lil Jordan. Josh Downs. Chase Brown's a pretty good player. Tony Pollard. Cade Otton. JSN. But just a base card. Fred Warner. Brock Purdy. There's Joe Milton, who's since been traded. So
his might be one to hang on if he ever gets an opportunity.
Yeah.
But he's got to do a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Jake Ferguson. Grady Jarrett. Jordan Love. I see some color back there.
I don't know.
Evan Ingram. Derek Carr. Ramondre Stevenson. Jordan Addison. Jalen Waddle. Byron Young. CeeDee Lamb.
CeeDee's nasty.
Yeah. You want to go one more?
Go one more.
Go ahead. You go.
No. I don't want it. You got that. Come on, man. You got to have that hot hand today. Let's go.
I don't have nothing. I got the cold hand. I need somebody to get hot. I've never pulled an uptown or a downtown. Never.
Well, I mean, it's not. It doesn't happen a lot. I've been doing this for many years.
Right.
And I've only gotten one out of a pack.
Seymour Green. Michael Pittman. Trey Hendrickson. On the move. Kyler Murray. On the move. Drake London. Solid player. Aiden Hutchinson. Alvin Kamara. Antonio Gibson. I thought I was guaranteed some stuff.
Yeah, well, you have the full box.
Jonnu Smith. Tua. I mean, I don't think you could pull a worse pack.
Just don't pull the downtown at home. That's what I asked you.
I know.
Don't pull the downtown
I'll save
at home.
these for next week. But so far, this box is garbage.
Well,
what a hot mess. What a waste of. I don't even want to tell you what I spent on those boxes.
I actually think it's a good box. There could still be something in there, man.
There better be. All right, what do we got for reactions besides my reaction to these garbage cards? What do we got?
Oh, in the cage?
Oh, he did not get hurt. Oh,
right at the back.
Oh, he's okay, though. Was he faking like he got hurt after the flip?
I think he was just screaming.
Yeah.
Just getting himself hyped up.
You got to be careful. What the heck?
What on earth?
Wow. Yeah, this is tough. This might be the end of the match here.
Oh, this is the fighting with seatbelts.
1 minute, 9 seconds
What?
left.
Yeah, they
Corey
fight in the
Lee
car.
is getting hung
No,
in the
they
back
don't.
seat.
He's getting hung in the backseat. Will he survive? Is the
God.
caption.
Somebody going to break this up?
All right, now
Hold
he's,
on. How do you lose this fight, though?
now he's just
To
being
the death.
insulted.
To the
He's still
death.
alive.
Yes. He's still
There's
alive.
no
Are they
tap.
joking?
He's going to go ahead
All
and
right.
let this happen.
All right, guys. He has no
Our lead
pulse. It's a
official,
wrap.
Alan
right?
Getling is watching
That's
the action
incredible.
very closely, and there's the tap.
Oh, you're going to tap out? Jesus.
What if you pass out?
What country is
Keeps
that?
Going. I don't know. I mean, the
Interesting
guy
stuff.
sounded English like the broadcasters. I don't know where they're
Yeah.
from.
Yeah, he did.
That cannot be in the U.S.
No, I mean, I don't know how you get that sanctioned, but
No.
golly, that was crazy. I've seen phone booth fights before, which are pretty crazy.
Yeah, I've seen that. But
Yeah,
the
those are pretty
fighting
nuts.
in the car is a
Yeah.
unique one.
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully, I get one of these cards, pull them tomorrow.
Yep.
I'm going to have to film it and we'll show it.
Okay.
I'm just going to bring in some good cards next week. Maybe I'll plant some. I got to do something. That's a wrap for us. I'm pissed off. At Danny Cannell. Follow on socials. Make sure you go subscribe to the channel as well.
Yeah, guys, do us a solid. Please share, like, subscribe, the whole nine. Tell a friend about it, right? It's fun, man. Let's do this. So, Man O' Steel on Instagram. We appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Appreciate you. See you.